Hello YouTube, Conspiracy Boy here, with another Carboot haul video. Well, yeah, quite a morning, as you can tell. I can't say it's all good news, as obviously I get excited when we get things for next to nothing. We have some really cool stuff here, but I did pay a lot of money for it. I don't know if I overpaid, there's probably a good chance of that, but still, the stuff I have is stuff I've never even seen before in some cases, so yeah, I think it's worth picking up. And then there's the other side of the Carboot haul, which is off camera to the right here, and we'll scroll to that afterwards. Firstly, I want to give a big shout out to some of the people at the Carboot sale. We had Rick again there this week, which always makes car booting a pleasure. If you've seen videos where I'm really annoyed and upset with sellers pissing me off, it's very rare that I get that upset if Rick's there. He's such a nice guy that he always manages to bring my anger levels down. He had his friend that collects retro video games there too, who's also a really nice guy. I also met a new fella at the boot sale who's a collector. His name was Kane. Shout out to Kane. He seemed like a nice guy. He said he was going to check out the videos and hopefully we'll do some trades on some stuff. And then a young lad and his father who I felt really bad. I'll tell you why shortly, but they were really nice guys, and they also said they had like arcade machines. So I had to tell the kid, he had one of the coolest dads, because if I was growing up and had arcade machines in my house, I'd be a happy man. But anyway, that's all the shout outs taken care of for today. On with the haul. So anyone who watched last week's episode will remember I came across some lady who had some Ghostbusters magazines. She has a stack about 4 or 5 times the size of what I have there still remaining, and they wanted £2 a piece for them. And they had this little bag of assorted goodies here that they wanted £8 for, and they wanted £5 for a Slimer watch and £10 for this, and yeah, it was all quite a lot of money, and I didn't buy anything from them last week. So they said they'd be back, and that they'd also bring the action figure collection that this fella had. Now last week we saw a couple of Star Wars toys, a few Ghostbuster bits and some comics. It looked like the action figures were literally all missing. All they had was like the bags of accessories to go with the action figures, but it hinted at what ones they had. Basically, because they have all of these little ghosts, they only come with either vehicles or action figures. So clearly there was at some point Ghostbusters, and again more bits that denote there's vehicles and more accessories out there. So yeah, it was just too much money last week. I would have paid I would have paid £50 near odd for the comics and the bits that I got this week if I'd bought them there last week. So we got to the boot sale really early this week to try and find this lady who was going to bring a vintage Star Wars collection and a vintage Ghostbusters collection of action figures, because obviously that's what we go out looking for. Action figures are the thing we want. This is all awesome stuff and I love it, I really do, but action figures are where the real joy comes from. So I got there as early as I could. I woke up at 5:30. I left a bit late. I just couldn't wake the sleep from my eyes and realistically get in a car and drive for 45 minutes until I feel awake enough to do so. So I ended up leaving about 6:15 and getting there at about 7 AM. And I just charged up and down the stalls looking for this lady, and I couldn't find her, and I must have spent an hour probably not even looking at what I could have actually picked up, but just looking for the lady, and she just wasn't here. And once I'd been around the whole boot fair one time, I just went, you know what, she's not here, forget it, let's just carry on. So I did my little bit of shopping, and then I found her, and I went over and said, look, I remember you being here last week, you've still got some same stuff, and I just said, how much is this bag? It's the exact same bag as last week. I'll show you the contents of the bag first. So it had this, which looks like some sort of movie projector. I'm sure you just press the button, this span round, and you could watch a film. It also had another disc. Last week Rick got one of these disc things, but sealed new in the packet. So that was certainly worth picking up. This one is corroded inside, which is a bit of a shame. There's no cover case. I've put a battery that I know works in, and nothing's happened, so this is probably broken, which is heartbreaking because I was really excited to see that. But that was in the bag. There was also these assorted ghosts that came with action figures. So you had this little smiley face here. I think this goes to the aeroplane, the Ghostbusters airplane. This one, which I forget what he goes with. I think it's one of the Ghostbusters, and you like insert this into the stomach of the Ghostbuster, and it makes his eyes spin or his mouth open or something like that. This glow-in-the-dark one, I can't remember for the life of me who he comes with. Another one of these faces, probably because there was two with a plane. This one with a nose, which is very similar to the plane ones, so I'm assuming that goes with the plane as well. This guy, who definitely came in an action figure, but I can't remember which one. And this little fella, who I think you only get when you buy the ectoplasm. I'm not certain on that, but I've never seen that one before. It is definitely a Ghostbusters ghost. But yeah, because its mouth's open like that, I have a feeling that comes with the ectoplasm. So that would be really cool if that's the case. There were some other non-sort of, I don't know, action figure related bits. You had one of the ghost storage holders, I'm going to call them now. The ghost containment unit or whatever it is, that comes with the house. I don't have any of these. This was the only one they had. They didn't have the big red one, which was a bit of a shame. But yeah, that was in the bag, so that was one of the reasons I wanted it. This, which I think comes with Ecto 3, it's just a little bit that sits on the top. This, which I love, which is a shame it's not in such good condition, but it's like a solid PVC plastic, just little Ghostbusters thing. I love that. It's so small, but it's the fact that it's 3D and it's not 2D and flat. I'm going to desperately try and clean that up. I might even put some black back into his eyes, just to try and restore him to his former beauty. Because, yeah, I really like that one. These magnets, nice little Slimer magnet there, and also Stay Puft Marshmallow Man magnet, but you can see he's very damaged. It might just be, oh, I think it's just something sticky stuck to him. But it's almost like whatever sticky is exposing the colour underneath him, which is green, which seems mad. Why would they have green paint underneath this white fella? No idea. We'll investigate that. We'll have to try and clean that up. But yeah, it doesn't look good. Another little weapon from one of the action figures. And this guy, which I think is possibly one of the more modern, like the Extreme Turtles, perhaps, because I don't remember this one. Oh no, it says 1987, so it's one of the old ones. Again, I don't know what that one comes with. That seems to be a new ghost to me. So that little bag there, she wanted £8 for last week, and £5 for the Slimer. And this week she said you'd have the Slimer and the little bag for £10, and I just thought, yeah, we'll go for that. And while I had her in a good mood, I said, well, in that case, how much is this? And this, it looks like some handheld sort of Star Wars game, little LCD screen thing, new in packaging, 1991. So it's not old, it's obviously a bit sun damaged on the back, but I'm not sure anyone would be too fussed about that. A little bit of damage to the packet at the top here, but still, never been opened. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, so that's probably not something that will stay, but something I'll probably try and recuperate some of the funds from my Ghostbusters collection back with this. Probably won't be very much, but anything's better than nothing. She said she wanted £3 for that, and she just had this stack of comics on the table. Now, I remember from last week she had probably close to 100, if not more, and she had this stack, which I didn't get the chance to count, but it's actually 28. So there's 28 Ghostbuster comics, all in varying condition. They've all got the name of someone written on the top, but Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I love these comic books. I just really wanted them last week, but I couldn't pay £2 each. She maybe had 200. It could have been like £400. But she said, you know what, you can have that stack of 28 comic books and the Star Wars thing for another tenner. So I gave her £20 for these 2 bags. Now, they were only just setting up, and I said, oh, look, my friends who were here last week looking at stuff with me, they've been looking for you too. I'll let them know you're here. And she said, well, I tell you what, when my husband gets back, there's another box somewhere which is all like Ghostbuster backpack type things. And I genuinely thought she meant like proton packs, and I was like, no way, are they in their packaging? And she was like, oh, one of them is, yeah, one of the backpacks is in its packaging. And I got so excited. So I was like, right, okay, brilliant. And she was like, I tell you what, if anyone comes over, we won't get them out. I'll wait till you get here before we get them out. And I was like, okay, yeah, brilliant. So I walk off and I call Rick and tell him that Ghostbuster lady's here, but she doesn't have anything different from last week. And he says, well, that's fine, I'll still walk over and have a chat with her. So I carry on having a walk around, bought a few more things, went back, and Rick was just arriving. And I walked over and said hello to the lady, and she said, oh, he's not back yet, but when he is, I'll let you know. And then just as soon as I arrived, he did. And she went, oh, and she said to her husband, oh, look, this is the boy I was telling you about. This is the boy who you should let look at your backpacks. He's bought something from us today. So I guess she knew I was a serious buyer, because I'd spent like 20 quid already. So he pulls out this box, and in the box they have this real Ghostbusters carry case. He said it was for cassettes, but I'm not sure. I thought it was like maybe an action figure carry thing. Everything's branded from Toys R Us. It's still got all the Toys R Us stickers on it for some reason. But I think that was probably better for carrying action figures around in than cassettes, but it doesn't look like it's ever been used for anything. Looks like they just bought it and it's just sat in the attic. But yeah, I really like that. That was beautiful. But he wanted £5 for each of these bags. So we've got this Ghostbusters backpack here, still in its packaging. Wanted £5 for that. And he had this Slimer here, which I absolutely love. This is brilliant. The arms are attached to the sleeves and are padded, so it makes him look like he's got a bit of weight behind him. And then you've got the actual Slimer face there. And I'm probably going to try and fill him with lots of carrier bags or old pillows or something, just to make him look the right size, and then try and hang him on the wall at an angle. Whoops, my arm's in the way there. Try and hang him at an angle, all puffed out. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I was really happy to see that Ghostbusters one there. And then he pulled out this Ghostbusters wallpaper, which I could not leave behind. I'm currently in the process of selling a lot of the toy collection off next door, just so that we can actually get back into the room and start using it for things again. So once there's some space, I'm possibly going to put this wallpaper up. I'm not sure how long we'll be living at this property, so I don't really want to put it up if we're going to leave. But yeah, he wanted £5 for that as well. And he wanted £5 for this too. And this is Ghostbusters border. See if I can unroll it all so you can see. I think this is when it starts repeating itself. Yeah. Now the first bit's obviously a bit gacky where it's been rolled up, but once you get past probably the first 50 centimetres or so, it's actually in really nice shape. The edges are a little bit yellowed, but I don't think that'll necessarily show up when it's on the wall. And he wanted £5 for that as well. Then he pulled out a carrier bag that was just full of the cards. Now it's funny, none of these are English cards. This one's French or German, I would have thought, but they're not English cards. But they're all in really nice shape considering. So there's that one for, I think that's probably the Super Scared Egon. yeah, I'm just going to show them to you very quickly. I can't remember all the names of all of them. Don't have that one, the skeleton. Really want to find that skeleton toy. That one they've got the card off really well. And a Slimer, I don't have that Slimer either. Really do with him. Had this little glow-in-the-dark sticker set there as well. These in there too. This looks like one of those, the little water squirter things. There was the watch that my friend got last week, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man one. Slimer watch that I got today. I think this might have been the stickers, possible, or it says puzzle actually, so it's puzzle, and there's another one of the spitter packages there. They also had this, which is pretty cool. An action toy guide, probably came in the box of one of the figures, runs through the majority of the Ghostbusters line. So that's nice, being able to see him. Oh, in fact, yes, that little blue fella. Oh, and those little faces. A lot of those. Whoops, I'm on there. Don't know if you can make that out, guys, but just under the yellow ectoplasm bottle, there's our little blue fella with the mouth open, and then on the one in the middle, with the yellow figures, that looks like the face and the nose. So we've got a few of the ectoplasm play gel ones. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this was a nice little book, and then it goes on to a range called Bone Age. Never ever heard of Bone Age, or ever seen a Bone Age figure, or ever heard anyone even mention the words Bone Age, so that was weird. Silver Hulks I've heard come up a few times, and then there's just like NBA players. But yeah, Action Toy Guide was in there too. Had this in there as well. Can't remember how this worked. Ah, there we go. From one of the Proton packs, so I'm imagining there is a Proton pack in these people's lot somewhere. This, which I believe comes on the top of that, that like flying machine fella, some sort of winged apparatus. Two guns, which I guess come from the Millennium Falcon by the look of things, but it's probably the original one, I would have thought. A Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back tape. Says tone indicates turn of page, so I guess this is like a read-along cassette thing. That was in there. You had this, which is a Ghostbusters shoelace clip. That's really cool. That might come out when I'm busting me nights one day. This little squeezy one. This big one, never seen one of those. This yo-yo, never seen a Ghostbusters yo-yo before. And this one, which I guess is one of the bullets that you get fired from one of the guns, but again, never seen that before. And this is loose, so I don't know how this didn't just fall off. So yeah, that was my Ghostbusters haul, and by look of things, they have a lot more. They did say they wouldn't be back next week, or the week before, but they'd be there the week after. But at first they said they wouldn't be there for 1 week, and then it'd be 2 weeks, and I'm not sure they were certain whether they were going to bother to do it or not again. So I don't know, do I keep going back to the same boot sale on the off chance they're there and hoping to find more, or do I hit the local ones where I tend to get better value deals, and you never know, stuff like this might come up at a better price there? I'm not sure. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do there. But overall spend with this one seller for the Ghostbuster stuff, I spent £20 on the comics, the Star Wars game, and the little bag and the watch. Then it ended up being £30 for the bag with the cards and these little bits in, and the border, and that one, and the Slimer. I think I paid up about £55, £60 for the lot in the end, which seems an awful lot of money, I have to admit. I feel like I spent a lot of money. I know a lot of people that buy on eBay and things might think that some of these are worth more money than that, but I don't know. It still seems a lot of money. I prefer picking this stuff up when it's dirt cheap, and it's not the action figures, but it is some really cool stuff. So yeah, I don't think I regret it. I really like the box. There's enough things in there that I think it's going to make it worthwhile. I just have to grin and bear how much I spent up front. But hopefully, when we go back, we'll see them again, and hopefully they'll have some more toys next time. Maybe some proton packs and stuff. That'd be really cool. I'll probably have to take more money down with me, because I imagine they're not going to move their prices when people like me are foolish enough to keep buying it at that price. So yeah, it's not going to be cheap, but it does look like there's a cool load of Ghostbusters stuff out there. And apart from Turtles, Ghostbusters is my line. So yeah, I'm chuffed to keep finding it, especially in an abundance like this. So that's my Ghostbusters haul, guys. I thought I'd put the Ghostbusters haul in with the rest of this week's Carboot haul, but because this video is 20 minutes long, I think I'm just going to cut it off there, and we'll cut to another video, which will be today's Carboot haul video. And if I can be bothered, we'll also show you a few things I got at the charity shops early in the week. But yeah, so that's this week's Ghostbusters haul video. See you next week, or in 5 minutes. Bye, YouTube.